Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever found yourself just staring blankly at a screen, totally stressing over what on earth your professor actually wants in a weekly discussion post, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to transform your standard, kind of text-heavy syllabus into your absolute supercharged playbook for discussion board success. We're going to break down exactly what separates average busy work posts from those exceptional top-tier grades.
Okay, let's just quickly look at our roadmap for today. We've got 5 stops: moving beyond the bare minimum, the standard discussion formula, a fun week 2 twist with musical introductions, the actual hallmarks of strong work, and finally, decoding that grading rubric.
All right, jumping right into part 1, beyond the bare minimum, or as I like to call it, the C-grade trap.
I want you to really hear this expectation, straight from the source. The goal is not to post simply because the discussion is due. Let that sink in for a second. Your professor absolutely doesn't want busy work. This space, it's supposed to be a dynamic arena for actual human connection and shared curiosity. It's literally where you get to test drive course ideas while genuinely learning from how your classmates see the world.
So here's the big takeaway, and honestly, consider it an explicit warning. If you're just logging on to check the boxes, hit that minimum word count, and bail, you're aiming squarely for a C. It's just a fact. If you want those stronger grades, you've got to stretch your legs a bit. We're talking deeper analysis, bringing in outside evidence, and actual, meaningful interaction.
Which brings us right to section 2, the standard discussion formula. This is going to be your go-to weekly play.
So here's your foundational 2-step formula for a standard week. Step 1, you craft a solid original post of at least 300 words. And step 2, you follow that up with thoughtful, multi-sentence responses, usually 3 to 5 sentences each, to at least 2 of your classmates. Sounds super simple, right? Well, the real magic is entirely in the execution.
For that original post, you really have to synthesize the material. Think of this as your master recipe. First, grab one key idea from the week's materials and connect it to a real-world example. Simple enough. But don't stop there. You need to explain exactly why it actually matters. Then, toss a thought-provoking question back to the class. Oh, and here's a huge pro tip direct from the source. Literally bold your important course terms. It instantly shows your instructor you know your stuff, and it makes your ideas totally pop for everyone else.
Okay, so now for step 2. Let's say you've written this brilliant original post, but how do you respond to a classmate without resorting to the classic, robotic, great post? I totally agree. I mean, we've all been tempted to just hand out that generic praise, right? But how do you actually engage in a way that matters?
Well, you do it by diving right into their specific ideas. You want to engage directly with their reasoning. Tell them why their point was effective, or, gently suggest where it could be pushed further. Bring in a fresh perspective or maybe a brand new example. The ultimate litmus test here? Your reply should be so ridiculously tailored to their exact words that it couldn't possibly be copied and pasted under anyone else's post. That's the gold standard.
Moving on to section 3. This is a fun one. Week 2 musical introductions. Let's look at this special play.
Sometimes a syllabus throws you a genuinely fun curveball, and this is definitely one of them. For week 2, instead of a standard academic post, you're going to introduce yourself using up to 3 meaningful songs. And hey, they don't have to be your all-time favorite tracks of the decade, just music that reflects a piece of who you are, what you value, or just how you experience the world around you.
So for each track, you'll need to drop the title, the artist, and a working link so everyone can actually listen. Then just write a quick 3 to 5 sentence reflection for each one. So you're aiming for maybe 8 to 12 sentences total. But listen, this is absolutely crucial. You are always in control of your privacy. You are never, ever required to overshare personal stuff just to get a good grade. Only share what feels totally comfortable for you, period.
Okay, let's pivot to section 4. The hallmarks of strong work and the real difference between A and C behaviors.
Let's actually contrast the two ends of this grading spectrum. Meets minimum work, that usually leans on really basic application, simple agreement, super generic examples, and mostly just summarizing things. It's safe, sure, but it's a solid C. Now, exceptional work, that's the A tier, features real, insightful synthesis. It brings in outside evidence, offers highly specific evaluations, and actually moves the conversation forward. Obviously, you want your work living in that exceptional space.
And a huge part of being exceptional is how you evaluate your peers. Just remember, your job isn't to judge the person. You're just looking at the quality of the ideas. So focus on their reasoning and their evidence. Be specific about what makes their post tick or what can make it even stronger. And honestly, disagreement is totally welcome. It just absolutely must be expressed with evidence, genuine curiosity, and of course, total respect.
Finally, Section 5. Let's decode the grading rubric and look at the actual scorecard.
Knowing exactly how you're scored is literally the ultimate cheat code for success. Take a look at the perfect symmetry of this rubric. The 100 total points are chopped into 5 equal slices of 20 points each. Do you know what that means? It means that communication and community, which covers clear writing and basic respect, are weighted just as heavily as course concepts and critical thinking. You literally can't just be book smart here. You gotta be a good community member too.
So how do all those points actually translate into a final grade? Well, just meeting the baseline requirements anchors you right in the middle. At a 70 to 79, that's your C. If you want to launch yourself up into that 90 to 100 A range, you've got to go significantly beyond just getting it done. You need that deep synthesis, that laser-specific evidence, and the kind of meaningful engagement we've been talking about this whole time.
I actually highly recommend taking a mental screenshot of this final checklist. Before you even think about hitting submit, ask yourself, did I hit every single prompt requirement? Did I actually explain the concepts instead of just name-dropping them? Did I give a super specific example? Are my 2 peer replies actually tailored and thoughtful? Is my tone respectful? And did I protect my own privacy? If you can check all those boxes, you are in absolutely phenomenal shape.
And just like that, we've reached the end of our playbook. The syllabus reminds us that your voice genuinely matters here. At the end of the day, the discussion board is exactly what you make of it. So I'll leave you with this. Are you going to settle for being a silent, check-the-box C student, or are you going to use this playbook to actually shape the conversation and leave a lasting intellectual mark on your peers? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.